Hello and welcome to SudoKanard. We're here to solve this diagonal irregular Sudoku by creation of Siniša Hrga. This puzzle was featured in the latest WPF Sudoku Grand Prix. It was worth 74 points, and I didn't attempt it during the contest because I'm not very good on irregular Sudoku. Although I did solve the non-diagonal irregular Sudoku in a reasonable time. But this one I was a bit afraid. I solved it after the contest and it was quite pleasurable considering it's a genre I'm not so good at. So let's begin. And something that's very interesting here is that on this diagonal, if I recall correctly, there's something with 3, yes. 3 is on none of those cells because this 3 sees those 3 cells, this 3 sees those 4 cells, so the only place for 3 on this diagonal is here. Now those 3's conspire to remove all those cells for digit 3, so in this region only there is acceptable. On this region we can remove those cells, so 3 has to go here. So on this region those three threes remove all those cells, so we get a 3 here, and for this region we have this, so there's a 3 here, and this column doesn't have the 3 here, 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 so we still have those options, and on this column I think those options. Yes, that's it. So there's still some ambiguity about digit 3, and it will have to be resolved with other digits. Still a nice start. Now I'm seeing those 7s. So in this area we must have 7 in one of 2 places. And perhaps there's something with 7 on this diagonal, and no, I don't think so. Now, where do we look? We don't have that much information. An interesting point is that those digits do not appear here. Which is not that great, actually. But 6 does not appear here, and 6 must be somewhere on this column, so 6 will be here, which means that 6 is not here, and 6 is not here because of this one, so we must have a 6 somewhere here, and with this 6 we can say that it's confined to those places. And actually, I think 6 can't be in here, and the reason is that those 2 rows must have exactly 2 instances of digit 6. And obviously, there are quite a number of cells that can't contain a 6, and the only cells that can contain a 6 are those, and they are in 2 regions. So we have a 6 on each one of the regions, and because of this 6 here on the diagonal, we can rule those cells out, and this one just because of this 6. So there is a 6 in those cells, and there's no 6 in this one. Now, where else can we look? We have almost nothing with this region, and really not that much with this region. 7 could be interesting. Could be. Actually, there is something similar to what I said with those first two rows, which is that we know that 6 does not appear here, not here, not here. So the only places where 6 can go on those two rows are those cells. And those cells are in exactly two regions, so they are the only places where 6 can go. And we must have a 6 in here and a 6 inside this region. So that's interesting because it says that 6 can't be here. Now what about this region? Oh yes, that's interesting. In this central region, 6 is not here by the diagonal and 6 is not here, so it has to appear on this diagonal, which removes this option and places this 6, which removes those options and places this 6, which removes this option and places this 6, and removes this option, and that's the end for the time being. Interesting. Now look at this row. We know because there's a 6 here that 6 doesn't go there. So 6 must be somewhere here, and because of this 6, we can limit it to those places. So I think we've located all the places where 6 could possibly go. I don't think I can do better at this point. Something I'm seeing is that 4 and 9 don't go here. And actually 4 doesn't go here. So 4 on the diagonal must be also in those cells. So we have a 4-6 pair here. And now 9 does not go here. So on this diagonal, 9 can only be here. And those here are 2 and 7, and there is a 2 here. So that's a 7, that's a 2. And it removes this option for 7, so 7 goes here, and it pushes the 6 into this cell. So that is now a 4, that's a 6, and this is not a 6. So we have a 6 somewhere here, a 6 somewhere here, and just like the 3's here, those will have to be disambiguated by something else. Now I'm seeing this 7 and this 7, so that's a 7, and those here are a 2-8 pair. Here that's a 1-4 pair inside this region, no, a 1-5 pair, sorry. I almost blundered in a very canard fashion. Now this region still needs 4, 5, 8, and 9. 9 is not here, so 9 will be on this part. And that's interesting because now 9 doesn't go here, and it doesn't go here, so 9 is in one of those cells. And this impacts this region because there's the 9 here, the 9 here, the 9 there. So 9 must be somewhere among those two places. And the first column we still need 2, 5, and 9. But that's not the 9, that's not the 5. There's a 1 here that doesn't appear here, so in this region 1 is here. And this is 4, 7, 8. I can remove this 4 and this 7, and the last digit in the column is the 9. So now inside this region we still need 4, 5, and 8. But this is not 4. And that's all for the time being. Now what about 5 on this diagonal? 5 is not here. Not here because of this 5, so on the diagonal 5 is here. It pushes the 9 into this cell, which has no impact on the rest. But now this 5 and this 5 allow us to place a 5 here, so that this is 1, this is 5, that's not 5. And here we have 2, 4, and 7. And 7 can only be here because of those 7s. So that's a 2, 4 pair. And here we get a 1, 8 pair. I'm looking at this diagonal, and I'm seeing basically nothing. Except that I'm seeing basically nothing. All right. But this row still needs a 2 and a 4. And there's a 4 here. So that's not a 4, and the 4 in this region is here. There has to be a 4 somewhere on this row, and because of those, 4 goes here. Nice. So we get the 2 and the 4, the 8 here and the 2. That's not a 2. The 8 here gives the 5 and the 8. And this is 6 and 5, but there's a 5 here. So that's the 6, that's the 5, and now this is disambiguated. That's not a 6. This is the 6, and this is the 3. And this is the 3. This row, or perhaps the diagonal, this 4 is not here, so that's the 4. There has to be a 4 on this row. It's here at the center. We must have 1, 2, and 5, and 8 somewhere here. 2, 5 here, so this is 1 or 8. Perhaps this column needs 1, 2, and 8. This column needs 1, 8, and 9. So this is 1, 2, or 9. But this diagonal needs a 7. And it's not here. So it's here. And this row needs a 7. And because of this, 7 goes here. This is 2 or 9. This row needs an 8. It's not here. So 8 goes there, that's a 1. So this is 5 or 9. We need an 8 on this row, and because of this 8, 8 goes there, and this is 2 or 5. Puzzle is still opposing some resistance, but this 8 now on the diagonal can only be here. So this is 9, this is 8. We need a 9 somewhere here. We need 1, 2, and 9, but there's a 1, 2 here, so that's a 9. And this here is a 2. So we get a few more digits. That's a 2, that's a 1. Here this is a 7. That is now 9, and this has to be an 8. Yes, that's it. So really, it was not a great struggle, and 74 points is probably a fair assessment of the difficulty of this puzzle. So I probably should have tried it during the contest. Maybe it would have earned me more points than I did, although I had an honest 399 points, which is quite a good total, I must say. Although I could have done better, but never mind. So, very, very good puzzle, as the whole round, to be honest. Thanks for watching this video, and see you soon on SudoKanard.